like this. And you would see both of the insides of my palms. I noticed when some of you came into the room, you shook hands with someone else, you actually gave them your hand and your palm was lifted upward. That is a great gesture. When your hand is upward, it almost says, I like you, I accept you. Lesson number 1, insides of palms mean acceptance. You want to come shake my hands, I need to bob you because you're up close to me, and I'll put you standing up here, and we'll just try this, okay? I'm going to show you how to analyze a person's handshake because I want you to get so good that the moment you shake someone's hand, you can figure out what kind of a negotiating partner they want to be with you. So thank you, and it's Brian. So we're going to read Brian's handshake, poor darling. I want you to notice what happens the very moment that you touch someone else's hand. I mean, you have 2 insides of palms that touch. Insides of palms mean acceptance, so then therefore, the more that palms touch, well, the more acceptance is felt between the 2 people. Some people understand body language but use it to their advantage even when they're insincere. Have you ever watched a politician shake hands? They don't come with 1, they come with 2. Yes. So they're thinking to themselves, the more I can get my palm on you, the better this will be to us. Or they may hold you here and say, it's really good to see you. I have watched people, they'll try to palm you up and down. Insides of palms mean acceptance, but you have a great handshake. You have about a 9.7 on a 10.6. But notice that Brian comes to me straight up and down, and I'll explain and tell you what that says about him in body language. Just push back just a bit. I want to make sure that people here can see too. I want you to notice that he has a slight tendency to point a finger at me. I mean, some people do it this much, he just does it a bit, and I'll tell you what that says about this young man. In body language, some people do this to you though, and that has a whole different meaning, and we'll cover that for you. This may be uncomfortable for you, Brian, but some people actually turn your hand this way, it means something else. Some people act as though they like you, but they'll never let you get near them. Even take another tiny step further back. Look, some people are like this. It's called strong-arming you. Stay over there, Brian. It's kind of an insecurity thing. Some people want to get real close, and they want to touch you here, and I'll explain that. And then even in today's society, we still get this kind of handshake. So I'll cover all of those so that they sit really well with you. I want to first mention, let's push back to make sure that they can see about this finger pointing here. When they point this much or even this little, when someone points a finger at you in a handshake, it indicates that they would like to have the final word, so just nonchalantly push that finger down, okay? I'm going to pretend that Brian did this to me. Let's pretend that he came to me this way. And you know what's one thing I want to click in your brain is this. Everything I teach you about body language is logical information. You know that if someone comes to you and their hand is facing the ground, that person wants to become the controller. When their hand is facing downward, they're giving you a message that says, whatever we decide, I want to have the final say-so. When a hand is facing upward, it's much more submissiveness. So this would be me giving you a message that says, whatever you decide, I'm perfectly okay with that. But when I work with people in negotiating skills or job interviewing skills or sales skills, I tell them, if someone were to come to you this way and you would like a 50-50 chance in that discussion, I would immediately turn the hand like this. They will not even realize what just happened, but they will quickly understand that you are as prepared for this conversation as they are. Absolute best kind of handshake really is a straight up and down one. What gives this young man such a good score in his handshake, the 9.6, 9.7, is that when he shakes my hand, he actually touches web to web. Now, I do not want to get into your personal lives, but I just need to know, have you been touching each other's webs? Look, this is the web right here between our thumb and our pointer finger. An ideal business handshake does come in that for you. Notice how far it comes in? And then it allows you and I to have a good firm handshake. And I know that you know this because you're all successful. Or maybe your mom or your pop when you were a child said to you, the kind of handshake we give another is quite indicative of our level of self-esteem. When it is firm, it just says, I feel good about me. In this day and age, to get people to have confidence in you, you must give people good handshakes. This kind of handshake to someone near your age is really not an acceptable handshake. I mean, if someone in the 80s, like my mom's 86, mama likes this. But someone in business today that's close to your age, they really want a good handshake this way. And you know what? Every time you have a meeting with someone, you have two opportunities for handshakes. You have an entrance handshake and you have an exit handshake. If that first one was not to your liking, then you can say to yourself during the meeting, by golly, I'm going to give them a good handshake by the time that our meeting is over. Another thing about shaking hands, this is kind of crazy, but we do teach this at the college level. The correct number of pumps in a handshake is 3. I know better, and I get excited, and I'll pump 10 pumps. Let's try 3 pumps. So let's get excited, okay? And I'll say, hey, it's Jan. He's kind of like a gravel pumper. Yeah, it's okay. Whatever you want to do is okay with me. I don't care how many times you pump, I just want to tell you what the textbooks say. You know what's another great thing that all of you can learn to do? And it's called anchoring, and I'll show you what it is in a minute. And it's acceptable for ladies to do. It is also acceptable for men to do. Because some body language gestures are more okay for guys, some are more okay for girls. But I'll show you this one that is acceptable to both. It is so simple. It's just this. You see what's going on here? I'm just touching him here. And I'm going to give you the definition of what this is. Because in body language, really the only acceptable area that I can touch another who I don't know well yet is between the wrist and the elbow. We can touch here. If I would touch him here, and he's not my friend yet, he might feel that I'm invading his personal space. Once someone's your friend, and then we hug people, we kiss people, but let's say it's a very, very formal first meeting for you, and you want to make another connection with the person, it would be perfectly okay to hold on here. Let me give you the definition of this. When I hold on to you here, it non-verbally sends a message that says, I am fully present in this conversation. It really just stops you for a second. You give the person good eye contact and you validate that person as an individual. Because so many times, some people shake your hand and then they dismiss you. Haven't we all had that little feeling in life? If you're holding on to them here, they will never comfortably let go of you until you're ready to be let go of. And another word of caution, the handshake, the proper way to do it is that you would completely square your shoulders to your partner's shoulders. So we need to be like this, exactly squared with each other, because it says in body language that we always point our bodies where our minds want to go. So stay exactly as you are, but I'll just turn my feet towards you. If I am shaking this young man's hand, but yet I'm pointing towards you, that is quite discourteous to him, and he'd be in front of you, letting you know that I want to have a conversation. You feel it? I can tell that you feel it. I saw that smirk in your face. You know what? Whenever I get to this point, though, during last year's debate with Barack and with Mitt, I did ABC News, I did Fox News, I did CBS. They kept calling me and they said, what is going on with their handshake? What's going on? So I analyzed it for TV, and I'll just show you what we said and what we found out. Because I don't know if you remember that every time they get on stage, they have this huge kind of handshake, and then when they exit the team. So let me just show you how I did it for TV. So we're the two guys. And everything that I would do to you, you would come and you would also do to me. So they just approached each other and they did this 3 pump, okay? Then they held here, so hold on to me here. Yes, they did. Then they held here where muscle would be. Go ahead and hold on where muscle is. And they come right here and start tapping you. And they kept tapping and tapping and tapping. And I thought they would never quit patting because it says in research that the person who pats the last is the one in control of the conversation. I thought they'd never stop. Give them a hand, please. Gist of that. You would see them, they would do this step. So think about what we learned, and then I'll get into deeper and maybe more difficult things for you. Look, in general, and look at my hands for a bit. In general, when you are speaking and your hands are facing downward, that always gives an aura of control. When you are speaking and your hands are facing upward, it is much more submissiveness. It's not that one is better than the other. You need to use them both as you see fit. When you are serious about a recommendation or something, it is okay that your hands are like this. If ever you notice that you're losing your listening partner, then you gotta turn your hand like this. This says, I welcome a question from you now. This says, I want to pretty much control the conversation because you know your information better than your client knows your information. When you are serious, it's okay to do this. And then every now and then you just got to soften up and kind of bring them into the conversation. There was a picture of Hillary Clinton. It was about, I think it was 2 years ago in the USA Today newspaper. And Hillary was leading a meeting in Jerusalem, and a camera followed Hillary as she spoke. And as she spoke, her hands were like this. So I imagine whenever Hillary Before I get into the why, let me show you the right way and wrong way to cross arms. During a negotiation, it's never okay in a 2 to 3, 4 person negotiation to cross your arms and not show your hands. That is way, way too negative. It is defensive. It is as though you are giving a message that says, I want to think like I think and I want to think like you think, so I'm putting a shield between the two of us. The only acceptable arm crossing that we allow and teach in college negotiating classes is when hands and fingers are visible. This one is okay. Whether it's 2 hands showing or even 1 hand showing is okay. This is called a resting position or a coach's position. Because I never want to tell you not to cross your arms. I mean, don't you love crossing your arms? Yeah. If you need to cross your arms during a meeting, make sure that 1 hand is showing or both hands are showing. And I imagine you say, Jan, but I talk with others and they stay like this the whole time I'm talking with them. If they stay this way, it's wise if you could break them of the arm crossing, but I think in your business you can by handing them something. Hand them a pamphlet, offer them a cup of coffee, because look what happens. If I have to accept something from you, I have to uncross my arm. You know, it is said in body language that the more open and relaxed the upper part of a person's body is, the more receptive their mind is to taking in and taking information. And I imagine the ladies say, Jan, I sit like this because I'm cold. And there's a difference in a woman who is cold and a woman who is angry, and you know it's in the shoulders. Because when ladies are cold, we're like this. And when we're angry, ladies, what do? I mean, how far back can we get her? And the head kind of goes like this. I never did that. But you know what? You look a lot braver when you're not crossed. Because look what happens to my body. See what happens to my body when I cross? It kind of crumbles down. Every time you feel like crossing, what I want you to picture in your mind is a high school senior girl perhaps going down the hallway, clutching her textbooks or her chest. I mean, how insecure is this to you? Every time you feel like crumbling this way, say, no. I know me, and I feel good about me. And actually put your shoulders back. And look, use your hands to bring people into that conversation that you are having. Let's talk about honesty and dishonesty. Do you want to know how to spot someone who's not telling you the truth? Now, do not get in trouble with what I tell you, okay? But I'll teach you a few things that they let us tell outside the courtroom. I'll teach you a few gestures that we know from courtroom research that people do when they lie. And I'll give you some gestures that people do when they're telling the truth. But you know what? We have studied behavior in the courtroom. We've listened to testimony year after year after year. We have identified behaviors that body language-wise people do when they're nervous and lying. And we've identified those behaviors that they do when they're telling the truth. So body language in the courtroom of deception is still body language in the business world of deception. So take what we have studied and bring that forth for yourself. And I am teaching you this for twofold reasons. First of all, I want you to be aware if you are ever doing these gestures when you're talking with someone because they're negative gestures, and dishonesty gestures are negative. And I want to teach you the positive ones that you can do when you're in a conversation with someone. So for 2 reasons, I want you to know what you're doing with your body language. And other than that, I want you to understand what someone else is sending you in a message. I bet that you're pretty okay with spotting little lies. I mean, your moms and pops, maybe grandpops and stuff. I mean, what's the very first thing that all of you look at to see if someone's not being honest with you? Eyes. It's going to always be, and they look down to, it's always going to be the eyes. And, you know, we look at the eyes also, but we look at them a little bit differently, and I'll teach you how we look at eyes in the courtroom. So I'm going to talk about the 3 things that we study, and I'll get into detail with it. We study eyes, just like you would study eyes, because eyes are the windows to the soul. We study voice inflection, because that gives us indicators of honesty and dishonesty. But the big thing is hands. People move their hands a certain way when they lie, always, always, always. And people move their hands another way when they tell the truth. Once you understand that, it stays with you the rest of your life. You will not watch the news tonight the same way that you watched it last night. Because you will see someone speaking and you say, oops, I just caught them in a lie. So I'll teach you all of that so that you have those with you. Let's talk about the eyes just for a bit. We know that the eyes are the windows to the soul, are they not? And we know that if someone doesn't look at us, well, we don't want to trust them because, look, our moms always said, you look at me when I'm talking with you, did she not? So we just know, look, it's common courtesy and respect that we give people good eye contact in our negotiations, in our everyday conversations. I want to give you what's the amount of direct and indirect eye contact that should occur in your conversations. Let's say, sir, that I'm talking with you. While I am speaking with you, 80% of the time my eyes need to be fixated on your eyes. 20% of the time I can look away, I can get a thought, but then I need to come back and look at you. So it's about 80% of the time that we really give them good eye contact, and then 20% of the time you can look away. You can never look at someone 100% of the time you're talking with them. They will think that you're crazy. Our prisoners do that, so you can't do that. And you know, it's okay for your eyes to move a little bit because look what happens. Your eyes move because they are searching your big brain for your next sentence. If you need a thought from this side of your head, your eyes go here. If you need a thought from this side of your head, your eyes go here. So the three things, it's just really simple that we know about eye motions in the courtroom. And you wouldn't either. I know you know this is common sense. I mean, we never trust someone's story when their eyes never meet ours. You would not either. We never trust someone's story when their eyes excessively blink. And we never trust someone's story when their eyes remain closed for longer than necessary while they are speaking with us. Ever had a conversation with someone and look, their eyes are closed the whole time? You're like, what's going on with that person? When their eyes are closed for too long, it means that they are blocking information about themselves that they don't want you to know. So it's just sense, right? Does this make sense? You wouldn't trust someone if their eyes never met yours. I want you to be careful of those people who excessively blink when they speak with you, and be careful of those who keep their eyes closed for longer than necessary also when they're talking with you. Let me give you the two things about the voices, because that's easy to know. What we have found from, listening to testimony all these years is this. When someone is stressed and strained and lying to you, the voice gets really, really high. When they're stressed and they're lying, the voice is high. When they're stressed and they're frightened, the voice is really, really low. So, because what happens is the vocal cords tighten up when someone's stressed and lying, and so the voice gets really high when they're trying to tell you something that's not true, and then the voice gets really, really low when they're telling you something and they're frightened of it. So we study the eyes, we study the voices, and then the biggest thing is the hands. And once you understand this, it makes a world of difference in your life. So I'll teach you 2 or 3 gestures of dishonesty, and I'll be nice to you. I'll give you 2 gestures of honesty. I'll give you an honesty gesture that ladies do, and I'll give you one that men do. Won't that be fabulous? A male honesty gesture? Then guys, if you lie, just do the gestures, you'll never know that you're lying. So I'll give you that. Before I give you the hand gestures, let me try this with you. I'm going to let you catch me in a lie. I will tell you 4 things about me. I'll make certain that 3 are true, and I'll make certain that 1 is a lie. All of you know the level of my voice because you kind of programmed to it for a bit. So I'm going to make sure, and I'll call these A, B, C, D. And I'll make sure that 3 are true, make sure that 1 is a lie. I will, you know the sound of my voice. So on my lie, I'm going to make my voice go a lot higher. So I want you right now to keenly tune into sound. All of you are close enough to see my eyes. I'm going to make sure that on my lie, my eyes kind of weird out. So try to watch for that. And then we're going to watch the hand motion. So here we go. I'll go A, B, C, D. Here comes A for A. A, I'll put my right thumb up and I'll say this for A. I once kissed Mario Lopez. I think you might know Mario. He finished second to Emmett Smith of Dancing with the Stars. I once kissed Mario. For B, I'm going to do this. I'll take my hands behind me and I'll put them here. And I'll turn around so you can see my face, and I'll say this for B. Ready for B? My college grade point average for my master's degree was a 3.8. For C, I'll try this. I'll take my hands in front of me. I'll just cross them here and simply say this. I was once selected crawfish queen in Southwest Louisiana. And then for D, let me try this, and I'll take my hands here. I'll put them down and say this. I wrote an article on Tiger Woods' body language for Golf Magazine. Will not tell you just yet which one is a lie, but I can feel the intensity of your eyes for me. Now you're kind of scaring me, looking at me like that. That's how I want you to start looking at people, but something should have given the lie away. And before I give you and tell you which one, let's see who got it right, because some of you got it. I know some of you got it. Who thinks that maybe A was my lie, kissing Mario? Proudly raise your hand. Let me see your hands, and that's a great choice. Who thinks maybe it's B, college grade point average? Because numbers are pretty easy to lie about. I see your hand back there. I see you, and that's okay. That's a good choice. What about C, crawfish queen? Let me see your hands. I see your hands. Good, good. And what about D, writing the article tiger? And let me see your hands. This again, okay? So let me give you the 3 or 4 gestures that they let us tell outside the courtroom that when people do these, we know immediately that they're not telling us the truth and they're comfortable with their story. The 3 major dishonesty gestures that I will share with you are all done with the left hand. This is what we have found from watching and listening to testimony and understanding. When someone is highly uncomfortable with what they're telling you and probably not telling you the truth, they have a huge tendency to gesture with the left hand, the left index finger, and as they lie, they quickly and nervously will touch something on the left side of their face. I'll show you what the liar touches in just a second, but let's clarify one big fact. It is not that our left-handed buddies lie more than our right-handed buddies. The only reason the left hand is used, and I want all of you to help me because I taught you with this left hand is controlled by what? Right side. Look, this side can make up a story. When you tell a fib, it's coming from right here, and because of that, the motor skill uses with this hand. So watch dishonesty gesture number 1. Someone's getting ready to tell you something, and they know that part of this is not true. The first thing they do, they're going to casually lean back, and they'll take their left index finger, and as they lie, they begin to rub up and down the left side of their nose. The liar does this. He goes up twice, he looks down, and then he comes out twice this way. He usually goes up twice and then out twice. Ever had someone say to you, yeah, you look real good? And you believe them, they were lying to you. This is a huge dishonesty gesture. I am a teacher, so I never want to teach you something and not validate it for you. I want you to tell me what happened, and I'll start on this side to make sure they can see and move this way. When I do this, and then more so this, what's going on right now? I'm covering my mouth. You see, a liar brings a hand here to distract from you the information coming out of their mouth. So they will try to distract you with fingernails they wear, rings that people wear distract us, even watches that people wear distract us. If you're in a conversation with someone and they have a nice ring on and they keep doing this and doing this, after a while you're not paying attention again. Wow, that's a pretty good looking ring. We tend to bring something here to distract from another what is actually coming out of the mouth. In body language, look, this is called a manipulator. There is no sense that someone excessively touches their face when they're talking with you. They touch their face because they're highly uncomfortable with what it is that they're saying. I know that you watch your newscasters in your cities deliver news at 6 p.m., 10 p.m. You ever looked at what newscasters carefully? I mean, do they ever touch their faces? They never touch their faces. The girls never even touch the hair. The guys never touch their ties. Because they're trained to get you to believe their story. They just talk with you. The more that someone touches of their face while they're talking, the less confident they are in the story that they're telling you. And one thing that is of caution that you should remember is this. Let's say you are not talking and you're just listening to someone else speak. And while they are speaking and you're listening, you would start doing the lying gesture. Let's say they're talking and you notice, wow, you're doing this. If you're doing it while they speak, it means that you feel you are being lied to. It's as though you are thinking, wow, this stuff stinks. I don't believe a word of it. If ever you know that you're going to come around this way. Also, think where this gesture comes from. When you were a child, and I want you to show me, when you were a child and you said something you should not have said, you show me with your hand, what did you do? What did you do? Oh, you tried to stuff it back in. I mean, look, you're still trying to stuff it back in, but now you're just a little bit more sophisticated and the hand comes here. And I don't know if you watched when Bill Clinton first testified. I mean, we did his body language, it's well documented. He did this. once every 4 minutes until they finally said, Bill, you're gonna keep doing it. But one of the things that helped him out so much, his advisors were incredibly good with this. When Bill testified, I don't know if you noticed it, but he would wear an extra wide wedding band on those days. Like, I am so faithful to Hillary, you know. So when he would do it, you could see the hand here. Let me give you line gesture 2, line gesture 3. All major dishonesty is the left hand comes back to the left side of the face, and it is when this is done. I know that you've seen people do this. Excessive tugging, but it has to be left hand, has to be left eye. Tugging of the left eye gives a message that says, do not see very clearly what I'm saying because I'm not being fully truthful with you. And when they touch their eye, they use words that have to do with sight. So they'll rub on the eye and say, yeah, that looks good to me. And they're just fibbing each time. Watch the third. Again, the left hand comes back to the left side of the face, and it is this. I know that you've watched people have entire conversations with you doing this. There is no sense that someone does this. They're doing this so that you look here and that you do not look here. And when they touch, again, it's left and left. When they touch the ear, they'll use words that have to do with hearing. So they'll pull on the ear and say, oh, that sounds good to me. See, when they touch the eye, they'll say, yeah, that looks good. When they touch the ear, they'll say, yeah, that sounds good to me. I want to help you understand this because, I want you to understand the foundation of this research. You understand why someone touches the nose, because they're trying to push the information back in the mouth. But why would one person touch his eye when he lies? Why would another person touch his ear? These two touches are indicative of that person's preferred method of learning. In this room, I've been watching your little eyes. Some of us in this room, we're called visual learners. Some of us, we have to see it for it to sink in here, correct? So we're called visual people. Some of us are called audio learners. We just hear it and it sinks in here. If you are a visual learner and you're saying something that makes you god-awful nervous, wow, this calms you down. If you're an audio learner and you're saying something that makes you nervous or you're lying about, this will end up calming you down. All of us in nervousness touch the nose because when you lie, you get a tingling sensation in your nose, and because of it, you never touch your nose again with your left hand. Never. I'm going to help you figure out if you're visual or audio. It takes 2 seconds, and it's titled Chinners and Cheekers. Just take your right hand and touch your right cheek. Then you can figure out if you're visual or audio. And I'll either have you touch your cheek or your chin, but not to make any of you uncomfortable. I won't look at you. I'll just look straight ahead. It goes pretty fast, so I need you with me. Let's touch our cheek, our chin, our cheek, our chin, our cheek, our chin, our chin, our chin, our cheek, our cheek, our chin, our cheek, our chin, our chin. Stop. Stay the way you landed. Stay the way you landed. Either way you landed is okay. Stay that way just for a second. That's how you figure you. If you ended up where I ended up, that means your little eyes never left me. You were just doing what I was doing, so you're called a visual person. If you ended up where I said, you're focusing more on the words you hear, so you're called an audio learner. But if you're still doing this right now, I'm kind of concerned. But if you're still doing this, there's something you can write here, like I don't know what she's doing, but if you're in it in the middle, it's probably better off.